Hey everyone, it's Jeannie from A1 Vacuum and Sewing, and believe it or not, I am going to do my borders. They're not going to be put to the side, and this is not going to be another UFO. And I've been like, I've been playing with the idea in my head about how I was going to do it, and I finally came to this conclusion. So what I'm going to do is, and I have done borders every which way, and if I had had more of this fabric, I think what I would have done is I would have just, I would have sewn, I would have made this piece longer, the original piece. And I think what you got in your kit was 13.5 inches, 3/8 a yard. I would have just sewn maybe, because it's 45 inches, you need 60. So I would have sewn like, let's say 20 inches onto that and left it all in one piece, like not cut it down in strips, left it all in one piece, cut my batting and just taken that piece and just run it down and done the quilting and then trimmed it all up. So I would have done that. However, we're sold out of this and I'm not going to get it. I don't know when I'm going to get it. So I did go ahead and I cut 3-inch strips. And you can only get 3 of them. So you're going to have 1, 2, or do you get 4? You get 4. 3, 4. One of those strips is going to be the top and the bottom. You're going to do the whole thing and then you're going to cut it in half. It'll be the top and it'll be the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to put that to the side. Then the other ones run down the length, the left side and the right side. And then you're going to take your last one, cut it in half, and we are going to sew it onto the left one and the right one to make these. Now they're going to go from 45 inches to like 65 inches. So go ahead and sew those together. I'm going to cut off this little selvage right here. And then I'm going to sew 22 inches onto this one and 22 inches onto this one. As far as your batting goes, I'm going to be doing 3 strips at a time. So I cut 3 strips of batting, 2 inches, or I like to cut mine a little bit wider. So I cut mine 2 1/8. So I'm going to put these to the side, and mine are long. I just did like width of my batting. So mine are way too long, but you want them, I'd say have them be at least 60 inches. So 2 1/8 by 60 inches. Here we go. Ooh, ooh. The dogs have not had a walk, so they are super antsy. I've spent the day rearranging my sewing room, and I'm not ready to show you yet, but I will show you later on. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim this little end off here, the little selvage end. Get that off. Get it out of there. It's icky. I'm just going to cut this off. Dun, 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 dun. I wish I could like play music while I was filming, but I want you to be able to hear me. But I've got a song. Oops, that's not the one. Oh, look it. Oh, whatever. Okay, so this I'm gonna sew to this. I did that right. Here's my long piece and my halfer. And then here's my long piece and here's my halfer. I've left my door open so the dogs, we don't have a doggy door. So sometimes I'll just leave my door open and inevitably a fly will get in. Just be crazy. Here's my long piece and my halfer, which is half the width of fabric. These are 3 inches. So these are 3 inches by width of fabric. Width of fabric just means from selvage to selvage. Selvage is this end. This is your selvage, in case you don't know, because I know I have some new people. This is your selvage. Okay? Square it up too. Make sure you line up your ruler with that edge and then cut this edge. Okay, I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to match up 1/2 with 1 complete width of fabric, and I'm just going to sew it along that edge right there. We'll heat up the iron so we can, Poppy's over Looks like she's ready to attack. And come on over. I had set this up to, oh my God, you should have seen how messy the room was. And then I was organizing my thread. And you know how you just start, it just like, you're just go down that slippery slope. Okay, I'm going to use black thread because it's black. So let me go ahead and put in a black bobbin. I'm using my walking foot. Okay. Ow. Okay, hang on a second. I'll be right back. Not really sure where I left off, but I'm going to go ahead and take out my upper thread. And since I'm sewing on black, I'm just using black on black. And I'm just using my embroidery thread that's up there. I think I have, do I have a deco bob there too? I mean, it's just going to be a little bit of stitching. So don't worry about it. As far as stitch length, I'm going to go down to a 2.0. I really like 2.0 and 1.8, but I'll do 2.0. I'm going to turn on my auto lift so I can sew this strip, and then the foot will automatically lift up and I can sew my next strip. And I'm just going to match these up. If you want to pin, you can pin. When I pin, I like my magic pins, and I like fine. I like fine because, oh wait, I never threaded my needle. Let's redo that. I was going to go walk the dog, but then I asked Google what the temperature was, and it's 88 outside. And nobody's going to enjoy that. Nobody. So hopefully, I promised them I'd walk them tonight. I'm going to sew a little bit off. Let me grab my next 2 strips. Remember, you're sewing one of your full length width of fabrics. Sorry about that. Let me steady the camera. One of the full lengths with one of the ones you cut in half. So it'll be 1.5 width of fabric. Does that make sense? And these strips are 3 inches wide. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cut those. And these are gonna get quilted down. So I am going to, they're gonna get quilted down, so I'm gonna press them open. Let's come on over here. I think my iron has cooled off. It was upstairs for a little bit. So, and let me just go ahead and cut this. You could press it to one side if you want. And this is just, I'm just gonna press it open. That's it. Now I'm ready. I have 2 strips that are going to be, what is that, about 44, like 66 inches. And then I have 1 strip that is just 1 width of fabric, which is about 44 inches. And I'm going to go down the length. Okay, so this is ready to go. I have 1 big strip, 1 big strip, and 1 regular width of fabric strip. Now I'm going to be using muslin as my stabilizer. I didn't cut it yet, so let me go ahead and cut a piece. And what I want is I want a piece that's going to be long enough to run this way. So I'm going to measure it here, and that needs to be, I think, 15 inches. I think I should be good with 15 inches, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my muslin right here, and I cut 15 inches selvage to selvage, so that should be good enough. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of roll it up from the bottom. This is 90 inches. So I just don't want it like hanging down. And I have these are Jumbo Wonder clips, these green ones. Am I doubled over? Here we are. I'm doubled over. Do, 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 do. All right. There we go. So I'm going to clip this, and let's clip this. I just spent like the last 5 minutes looking for this. I was like, what safe place would I have kept it in? Because I have trouble prying these off just with my fingers. So I really do find that you need this tool, and this tool's fantastic. You just like a little bit of downward pressure and it'll come right off. Don't put them too close or else they're just going to jump back on. Okay, so let me go ahead and hoop. And, oh, so I think is a long one and there is an arrow here, and that's pointing in. What I love about this hoop is it is rock solid. Just gonna kind of drag this over. Like, it is not budging. Oop. Okay, doesn't that look gorgeous? I'm going to go ahead and take this over to the machine. I'm going to clear my screen too before I do that. All right, let's head on over to the machine. And now it's decision time. Well, I've actually made my decision. And that's why I'm using the 10 by 10 hoop. Even though it is, let me change out my bobbin. I'm going to put a white one in there. Even though it's 10 by 10, and I'm going to be using the 2 by 10 design. That 2 by 10 design is really 2 by 9.5. And that's why this hoop is going to work for us. Because you need a little bit of give in case it doesn't quite, in case you don't quite hoop it perfectly. Ooh. I think I was in the process of putting my my foot on, but I didn't finish. Because look, I just went to put it on and it kind of swung over. Hand tighten, and then always take your screwdriver and tighten it a little bit more. Did you see that? It was literally like, eek. But you never want it loose enough for you to undo by hand. When you put things on like that, like your needle, your embroidery foot, it's going to shake off at some point. And then you are going to be super scared. You're going to be like, oh my God, what's happening? Did you see I had a little more lift there too? All right, let's take a look at our design. I know I just put that on because I'm picking a smaller design. So I played with a couple different things. I went in here and I did, I played with this as an option. Actually, let me slide this off because it's going to tell me it's too big. But I think I did, oh no, that one's see, I did this one, which would work in like the 9.5 by 14 inch hoop, and it might fit into, I think that's the hoop you're going to have to work in. If I had had more fabric, this is what I was planning on doing, and I was planning on not even cutting the strips, just putting the whole cloth down and laying it down. Didn't quite work out that way because I didn't have any more of the fabric. So I'm going to go in here to my USB. And here is Pumpkins and Potions, background quilting, and we're doing border Halloween 4. Oops. Oh my God. The dogs are laying on the cord and they're panting. So it's like making the whole thing shake. So I'm going to go into my PES designs. Now you have choices: 2x7, 2x10, 2x12, 2x14. I'm going to do the 2x12. I'm going to do it 6 times. So I'm going to do 60 inches. I'd rather have a little more than not enough, which is what happened to me when I was doing quilting through the seasons. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. The other nice thing about the 2x10 design, it's not quite 10 inches. It's 9.5 inches. So you have a little give that's going to help you hoop. Now, the other thing is I want to make sure I'm not all the way snug to the side. So I have a little room to like move my design left and right, and a little room to move my design up and down if I'm not hooped perfectly. I'm going to add 2 more of these. So I'm going to go edit. This makes a copy so I don't have to go add and go looking for it. Just makes a copy. I want it to be right in line with this. So what I'm going to do is touch move, and I'm going to hit this center button. It's now on top of the other one, and then I'm going to scoot it to the right. And I don't want to go all the way to the edge because then I have to hoop perfectly. I'm going to go to, and I'm looking right here at my number. Let's go 3.27. Well, let's go a little bit over. 3.23. And now I'm going to add another one. I'm going to center that. So I'm going to go move, hit my center. It's on top of this one, and I'm going to just scoot it to the left. And this, I moved this one 3 inches, 3.23 inches. I'm going to move this one minus 3.23 inches. Here's my number right here. And everything's going to be kind of equidistant, right? There, 3.23. And I am ready to go. So let's go ahead and say okay. We can color group. So none of these are overlapping. So let's touch embroidery first. And I'm going to put this into memory because I'm just going to keep doing this 6 times. So I'm going to put it into memory on the machine. And you could have, I could have done different numbers, but I just chose 3.23. So as long as everything is not overlapping or it doesn't ruin the integrity of the design, you can hit your color grouping button right here. Not all machines have that, but now what it did here, I'll uncolor group. Do you see how it has the placement for batting, background, and here, and then quilting? We can touch this button, and now it's going to do all the placements, all the tack downs, all the placement stitches for the background, all the tack downs, and then all the quilting all at once. All right. First color doesn't make a difference, but let's pick a color we can see. And you know what color I'm going to choose. I'm going to go in with Mango Smoothie. That's right. You knew it. So this is going to be the placement for the batting, but don't put the batting down yet. We're going to put the batting down later. And I'm going to slide my hoop on, and it is going to do the placement stitch for all 3 pieces of batting. Now get your batting and let's give it a little shot of spray. Guess what? I'm not going to use my spray tent because, and if you look at my design, do you see how there's a little room on the top and a little room on the bottom? I didn't bump it up. Oh, I should have bumped it. No, you know what? For this one, I should have bumped up, but the other ones, I'm not. Just so I have a little bit of give up and down. I'm going to use my handy dandy spray box. And what this spray box is, it's really a box from a Snap Hoop. But that way I can spray big strips of my batting and not just itty bitty pieces that are going to fit into my spray tent. You really only need like 10 inches at a time, and keep this all in one piece. Don't cut it. Just keep it all in one piece. You're going to hang it over the front edge of the hoop. Sometimes I will abut my batting, like I don't even like sew it together, but I'll just make sure that the edges touch. I'm pretty loosey-goosey with my batting. And I don't think you'll ever look at one of mine and go, oh my goodness, look at her batting. It doesn't even touch. And I'm spraying the wrong side. So I'm looking for the side that's a little bit bumpier and lumpier. Lumpy and bumpy batting. Ooh, ooh. Okay, here we go. Here we go. And you're going to spray about 10 inches. You don't have to spray more than that. That's probably about 12, but who cares? Okay, I'm going to lay down my batting inside those lines. And you can kind of peek underneath if you want. Like peek underneath and then lay it down. Just make sure it's in those lines. And you're going to do all 3. And then don't sit on it like I do. Like what I do is then I go ahead and I put my knees on it and I sit on it. Okay, we are going to lay our background fabric down next. So let me go ahead and move the, oh, actually we need the box because we're going to be spraying. Where did I put all my background pieces? There they are. They're behind. Okay, here. So I'm going to put my 2 long ones first, and I'm going to make sure it's my whole piece and then my piece that's down near the bottom. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter, but if my eye's going to go to where I did the join, I figure I'll just bring it more down towards the bottom. And then you should have your itty bitty, which is just your 45-inch. That's selvage to selvage. And we do not have to spray the whole thing right now. You are just laying down about 10 inches. So let's go ahead. And you know what? I'm usually not a heavy sprayer, but when I do this part, I kind of spray a little heavier because I don't want it to move and budge. What helps is now that they have you cut your strips, instead of 2.5, they have you cut it 3, and that's going to be plenty for when it does the tack down. So I'm going to put this down here. Mine's moving because I was, of course, kneeing it. Okay, let me get this out of the way. Out of the way. Ooh, ooh. Here we go. I'm going to put this a little above and beyond. A little bit above and beyond this. Don't go too crazy because you need some of that. And what I want you to do, I'm going to go about 1/2 inch above, and I can just feel it. And then I want you to just kind of look underneath and lay it down. And you want about 1/2 inch on either side. Oh my God, isn't that going to be gorgeous? Next piece, same thing, about 1/2 inch above. So I'm going to just fold this back like there. It's about 1/2 inch, right? And I'll put it right here, center it, fold it up. And then lift up and peek underneath and make sure you have about 1/2 inch on either side. I'm going to skip the background placement stitch and I'm going to go straight to the background tack down. Okay, last piece. Let me just fold it back about 1/2 inch, and I'm going to make that be even with this edge. Fold it back up. And then I'm going to peek underneath here and just make sure I have about 1/2 inch on either side. And I'm just guesstimating. You need about 1/4 inch on either side. That looks good. Okay. So the quilting stitch is going to be sterling. I'm going to put that in right now because I can fussy cut to the sterling too. So it's a good color to put in. What you don't want to use is don't use black because then it's going to be hard to see. Okay, let me go in search of my thread. My motto is always, when in doubt, look on the floor. And then I did look on the floor and didn't find it. And then I looked on top of my machine in a spot I would never have looked. And there it was. Let's get this out of the way. My spray box. And we're just going to keep spraying as we go. All right. Let's skip some steps. We are going to go to this button where we go forward and backward stitches. We're going to skip all of that orange. We're going to skip all of that turquoise. That's the tack down for the batting and the placement stitch for the background. We're going to go to the second little grouping of orange. Now I can see I'm still in the turquoise. Still in the turquoise. And there's my orange tack down. Alrighty. Just make sure your fabric, you know, it was moving just then, you're not sitting on it, and because you're hanging it over the edge. And we're going to just do it all in one piece. And here we go. And I'm going to, whoop. I'm going to go back to the beginning of that. I want that whole stitch. Forgot to thread. Okay, here we go. And it's going to go down one side, and then it's going to go down the other side. And it used to be, when there wasn't a lot of extra fabric, it was hard. Sometimes that fabric would get pushed. You'll see this. We're going to have to make sure that's laying down nicely. Now, sometimes that foot wants to push the fabric over to the left. So just pay attention to that. And I kind of like push it with my finger to the right. Okay, first one. I think it's going to come over here next. What if you don't have this hoop? There's so many ways of doing this. You don't have to do it like this. I'm just always trying to think what's the easiest, what's the best, what's going to give you the best result. Pushing the fabric over. Okay, last one over here. Like I said, I was thinking I was going to do it in my 9.5 by 14. And that I was going to make, if I had extra fabric, I would have kept this in one piece. But this is good too. This is going to be easy. It's just a lot of hoopings. If I did the 9 by 14, I would have done the 2-inch by, is it 2.5? 2.5 inch by, what's the size I'm thinking? By 12 inches. Just to give yourself a little room frontward and backward. Okay, we are ready to do our quilting stitch. So that's our quilting stitch. Just go ahead and hit start. And it is 7 minutes of quilting, and then we're going to rehoop. Let it go. over here like doing so many other things. Fulfilling orders, piecing the back of my quilt. There's been a lot going on. Uh-oh, here comes Pops. Looks good, doesn't it? Okay, the next part's going to be the challenging part. The only and it's not that bad either. We're going to rehoop, and I'm also, whoops, let me grab the dog. Okay. We're going to rehoop. I'm going to mark the hoop because I want to know, where I should be hooping to. Does that make sense? So we'll go ahead and mark it. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pry off this one over here. And I'm just going to put a little piece of tape that shows me kind of where this starts. I'm going to put it right on my hoop. So it's going to be like right. Let me get a ruler. And it's like right through the... Okay, I'm just going to keep that on there. And that way I know my embroidery field starts right there. I'm going to pry this one off. Same thing. So I don't just have to eyeball. It's more than an eyeball. It's eyeballs. Oh, you know what? You know what's really interesting is there's a line right here. And I bet that is, even though I put mine a little bit lower, I bet that's your embroidery field. I'll put this right here with the line. Maybe that'll help me see it better. And I never noticed that before, but there is a line. Here, do you want to see it? Like little hash marks. Do you see them right along here? So I bet that is going to be the top. Okay, that's easy. Let's go ahead. Let's remove our magnets and we're going to rehoop. And I have, you know what's so funny? Because I centered it, but I'm going to say I have an inch. Wait, we'll go this way. An 1.25 no sew this side, and an inch, to this line. So it's probably about an inch on this side and an 1.5 inches on this side, something like that. So it's not even. Your no sew area is not even. Interesting. I wonder if there's marks. If there's centering marks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, wait. You're going to think I'm so stupid. There is an arrow there, and that is your centering mark. And it's crazy, right? Because over here it's like 3/4 inch, and over here it's like an 1.5 inches. Okay, good to know. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot this up. I still have my magnets down here. Take this and flip it back. It's like your long golden hair. You know, I'm just still getting to know this hoop. All right. I want to have this a little bit below this line. Remember, I have about 1/2 inch up on the top and the bottom. So that's kind of good right there. and bring it down a little bit on this side. Okay, I think I should be good. Okay, center. Approximate center. Nope. That's approximate center, I think. And I've got that little arrow. So I'm looking at that arrow and I'm picking out the center of this. That looks good now. Again, I'm going to check this one more time. And then I'm going to use my projector. Okay, I'm good. Magnets on. I think we're good. Sometimes you might have to rehoop. Just get used to it. Don't be sad about it. You might have to rehoop. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. Remember, your arrows point in. There's little arrows here on these, and they point in. And I think, you know what, I'm recalling, because I used this when I did quilting through the seasons. And what I liked is I could adjust. Like, I didn't have to take off all the magnets. I could kind of adjust. All right, let's see how well we did. This is malleable too, so don't worry if your line's not perfectly straight. I'm going to go ahead and slide this onto my machine. Fluff your strips. Make sure that your strips are not folded under. Okay, we're just doing the same design again. So you don't even have to reload it or do anything else. We're gonna go okay. And then I'm gonna say okay here. I'm going to touch my projector. And let me take my fabric and make sure it's not all. Right now it's pretty jacked looking. So let me go ahead and lay it down. I'm just kind of, I feel like I'm doing that, is it what's that thing where everyone has a ribbon and they go around? It's like something you would have seen on like Little House on the Prairie. I don't even know what it's called. Okay. Projector. Focus, Jeannie. Focus. And what I really want to see is the top and how the join is. So you're going to move your projection area with your finger, design with the arrows. So I'm going to go ahead and put it all the way to the top. And I want to see how we're joined up. And do we need to look at this on a different color background? Oh, I was surprised. I'm surprised it shows up with the black as well as it does. Okay, lines. We're going to be lining up. Ooh, hang on. Poppy's hogging the ottoman. So it's the yellow line. The yellow line is the line that we're lining up. I can't believe how spot on I am. These are the times where you're like, oh my God, I'm like awesome. And when I say spot on, my yellow line is lined up with the tack down line. That's going to be your tack down line. I still have to do, this top line has to come down about 1/4 inch. I don't know if you see that. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my arrows. And that is as far as I can go. So good thing I left a little bit of room, and now I know maybe I'll leave that up a little bit. Let's see how we did over here. little bit too high still. And this one's okay. I'm going to have to nudge it. Let me grab my tool. I am going to actually I can't remember. Last time, did I just bring it over and just do all my hooping here, like with the projector? Oh my goodness. She got up, so I was hoping she'd like jump off, but she did not. This is real life hooping. Oh, so maybe this is what I should do. I'm going to move this design back to center. All right. You know, and who says you have to use all the magnets too? I don't think anyone says you have to, right? So I don't even have all my magnets on. I think I just put one on the top and one on the bottom. So, okay, there we go. I think that's what we'll do. We'll just rehoop here. Remember, it's a learning process. So this looks pretty good. I think I need to scoot my design a little bit to the right. So I'm going to use my arrows on my screen. Remember, finger moves the projector. Arrows move the design. One more. Okay, that looks good to me. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. Okay. Maybe one more click. Okay. Feel like that looks really good. I lined up the yellow with the white. And then I want to make sure that the blue line is like pretty much in line with my locking stitches from the silver. Everything looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and flip this back because we are going to do our placement stitch. And you don't want to, you want to flip everything up and back. It's a lot of batting and fabric to handle right now, but it'll get less and less. And you're going to really have to kind of pull this out of the way so the stitches don't catch here. If you want, you can kind of just click it one more click down. This is pretty good, but this is kind of close. Do you see that? I'm going to go one more click down. There we go. This, no problem. This, really good. This, a little bit close, but I think we're good. All right, ready first thing we're going to do is placement stitch. And I played with these two to see what was going to show up best. I'm going to say, okay. We are already color grouped like before. I'm going to go here where we go forward and backward stitches. And the first thing it wants to do is it wants to do a placement stitch for the batting. So it's going to do the center one first. And you kind of want to pull that batting up and out of the way. Here we go. Just that very first stitch. And we're going to pull it back again when it comes back up. And then I think it's going to the right. Okay, this one next. Just kind of pull it taut and up and out of the way. Yeah, mine is super close. I'm like stretching it back. You just don't want it to stitch like a fold in your sashing piece or your border piece. And make sure there is nothing underneath here. You want to make sure there's no fabric that's folded under here. Okay, I'm gonna kind of pull this back a little bit again. Okay, this one next. So the one on the right, I'm just gonna, whoops. My arm kind of got stuck there. Okay. Don't forget, you can always hit the stop button if you need to like reposition. Over here, just pull this back a little bit, just make sure it doesn't get stitched down. And that, I don't know if I could make it any more perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna give it a little spray in here. I'm gonna lay down my batting pieces, and then I'm gonna give a little bit of spray again, and then lay down the top pieces. And just try not to get spray all over your hoop. If you want, you could grab a piece of cardboard and kind of like hold it here to protect stuff. If you're not comfortable spraying, use your glue stick, use something. Do you want to, this is what I'm dealing with right now. So she's hogging the ottoman. And she's making me really hot right now too. She thinks she's a lap dog, and she really is not. All right, let me see. I need a better angle. I'm struggling here. You don't want to spray too much too, because you don't want it to go through your fabric. All right, lay this down. Oh my goodness, she's snoring. I don't know if you can hear her. You know what? I'm going to clip this. I'm going to make it manageable. I'm going to roll this up. We'll get in a flow too. This is just real life stitching and problem solving and thinking and deciding, you know, how are we going to do this? Okay, there we go. All right, this one, let's do this one next. Oh, he's kind of sandwiched in there. Here we go. I'm just looking underneath and laying it down. Okay, let me fold this up too, so it's not a huge mess. We had an epic session of Frisbee. So now they're tired. Okay, last one over here. Oh yeah, just laid all the way down. Looks gorge. All right, clip that last one. And mine are just hanging here over the front of the hoop. That's it. That's it. That's what we do. Now we're going to go ahead and let's spray this again. And we're going to lay down the top fabric. Now you want to spray it a little bit to the edges. Don't go crazy, right? If you're heavy-handed and you cannot control your spraying, don't do this. You can tape it down. Okay, same thing. We're going to lay this down and kind of center it to the batting. And I'm looking underneath, just kind of laying it down. There we go. Oh my goodness, so cute. And these are going to get trimmed down left and right, so don't worry if it's not perfect. Just make sure you don't have like an inch on one side and like, you know, a 1/4 inch on the other. Try to make it even. Here we go. I should probably fold that up too, but the batting was really what was getting me. And I'm just folding it down. I'm looking left and right, just making sure I have an even amount of fabric on either side. Okay, next time I'm going to hoop right here. I think I've got it down now. Okay, you ready? We're going to do the tack down. Let's skip the next couple of steps. So we want to do the orange right here. We're skipping this orange and this turquoise. And I'm in the orange, but am I too far in the orange? This goes to the next step. This goes to the previous. Yeah, look. And there's orange. And there's turquoise. And we want the first orange. This is your tack down. So go ahead and we're going to, let me slide my hoop on. Carriage is going to move. I'm going to hold this down, kind of tickle it. And we're pretty close. Looks good. So the new machine is going to have a bigger projector, which I think is pretty exciting because this one's kind of small. But I mean, it's better than no projector. Works, right? Okay, remember, this wants to push your fabric to the left. So go ahead and kind of push your fabric to, oh my goodness. It was perfect. Okay, I feel like a pro. Oh my God, that was perfect too. And you know what? It's all up to you how perfect you want it. If I was off by like a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch, guess what? I'm okay with that. It's going to look amazing when it's all, push your fabric to the right, when it's all stitched together. And it's fabric, so you can ease your fabric to look amazing. And make sure that back again is fluffed and not getting folded under. I'm off there, I'd say like a 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch. Remember we were just talking about that? I'm okay with it. All right, now it's time for quilting. And remember, this takes 7 minutes. Oh, you know what? It's actually 21 minutes. It's 7 minutes each. So it's going to be 21. Oh, I got to get that thread. It's 21 minutes of stitching. So go find something amazing to do. And then we have to do it 4 more times. didn't sound right. Hang on just a second. Let me see what is going on. I'm just going to cut. Something was not right. Let me, first thing I'm going to do is grab my thread, see if it's coiled. It's not. I'm going to check my bobbin. Sometimes it is the bobbin. And when you take this hoop off, just get it to a corner. Yeah. So see, something got tangled. And it's not pulling either direction. So I don't know what that was. And this will not pull. So, you know what? Sometimes you get a little bit of an icky bobbin. I'm just going to throw that away. It's not worth the battle. And I'm going to get a brand new bobbin that won't make my machine sound icky. And anytime you take off your hoop, don't forget, we are going to fluff our fabric. Did I grab the right end? I did. I talked to Patrick today. The poor man. His flight was delayed out of Reno, and then he was delayed out of Phoenix. And then when he finally did get in, they had to sit on the tarmac because there was lightning. And, okay, I'm going to go back. Let's go back 20 stitches. And let's rethread our upper. So I think he sat on the tarmac for, I think it was at least an hour, if not more. And then the Uber app wasn't working. So he had to get in the taxi line. And then that took like 40 minutes. And then his taxi, good thing Patrick knows, he knows the city, because his taxi, Patrick said Embassy Suites, and I can't remember, something Heights. Well, the taxi driver heard Brooklyn Heights and started to take him into the city. And Patrick's like, "Are you headed into New York? Because we need to go to Jersey." So I dropped him off at the airport at 11:30 Reno time, West Coast time. He didn't get in. He was supposed to get in at 11, and I think he didn't get in until 4 in the morning. My poor baby. Okay, so let's just keep stitching. But if you hear something funny, run to your machine. Something's probably wrong. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and rehoop. And like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to take it off the machine. Maybe I'll take it here because I don't want to put stress on this part of the embroidery arm. But let's just go ahead and use our little magnet prior upper. We'll use our projector. Oh, it's so much easier dealing with the batting when it's not all long and tangled. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead. I'm going to turn on my projector. So I'm going to say okay. It's back to the beginning. I'm going to say okay here. As long as you're at stitch 0, you can use your projector. I'm going to turn on my projector. And I'm going to scoot this up. Whoops. There we go. Let's put the hoop on because it needs to be in the right spot. And we're going to take that projector and we're going to, we want to move this to the top. Remember, you move your projector. Oh, whoa, what was that? Magnets. Okay. So there we go. Once we finish this, we'll be halfway done. It's the price of beauty. That's what we have here, the price of beauty. Beautiful border pieces. Okay, I'm going to unfold this a little bit so this can hang over. But not too much. It's all about management, right? Okay, I gotta undo this too. Reclip, reclip. And these are all hanging over the front of the hoop. Okay, here we go. So I'm matching, here's the blue line. I'm matching that up with the ends of my, where the little sterling stitches end. And then the yellow is the one that is going to be the tack down. So the yellow, I think the blue is the placement stitch. This is the placement stitch. Orange is placement for the batting. Yellow is the tack down, and I think blue is the placement. And that's, I'm kind of guessing, but all right. So I'm going to line up the yellow and the blue with the yellow and the blue with the ends, those end stitches. That should be centered. And now let's go ahead and put that top magnet on. A long skinny one. Long one. Perfect. Okay, now let's get these in line. I'm going to slide my projector over here to the right side. I just popped it up a little bit. I just pulled it. I just held down my magnet and pulled back on my fabric a little bit so it would be perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move my projector all the way to this side. Okay, and let's check this one. Oh, and look at this one has to come down more. That's not far down enough. And the other thing I can do is put my magnets on the side to kind of hold that there. So let me go ahead and I'll put the little one first. There we go. Moving my projector all the way over here again. Looks good. Okay, let's get the rest of our magnets on. Okay, maybe that's the trick. I don't want my I don't want my whatchamacallit, my muslin to start going askew. Oops, backwards. Okay, I'm not worried about that. I think we're good. My fabric was kind of going askew, so I'm just going to make it work with this. I just didn't want my fabric to keep like running in a weird way. So I'm going to go ahead and let me scoot this over the tiniest bit. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time. It is not to my liking. Let me go ahead and do this one more time. It was perfect, but I don't know. I didn't feel like my muslin was running straight enough. So let me go ahead. We'll do the center one first. Maybe I'll do a small one first. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of make this taut. Not tight, taut. And put one magnet down here. Okay. I want that up a little bit. There we go. Okay. That looks good now. Ready? Let's go ahead. We're going to flip all of these back. Out of the way. And we're going to do placement stitches first. You're going to have to kind of grab that and pull it back a little bit. I'm going to say okay on my screen. And it's going to start with the center one. And we're just leaving sterling in there. I'm going to go ahead and say okay. Let me put this like this so maybe you can see my hand back here. I'm going to go ahead and say okay. And I'm going to pull this back and just make sure this isn't getting stitched down. Whoop! Hang on. Poppy is insisting on sitting in my lap. Hopefully I can reach. This is my very large lap dog. Oh, let me see. Okay, mine, and you have to pay attention, like they usually stitch in the order in which you load them. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out of the way. I think it is easier to pull from the right side than the right side than the left side. Oop, hang on. I'm having a makeout session with my dog right now. There's usually no consent. Oh, my tab? I don't know what that was. It says change to a larger hoop. And you know what? What that means is, oh, my fabric was bunched up and I didn't fluff. I got lucky there. But my fabric was bunched up and I hadn't fluffed it and it was clumped under. So, and I got really lucky because it hadn't stitched it down. Lucky, lucky. Okay, pull from the right side up gently. There you go. Okay, the last one, same thing. I tried to pull from the left side and that didn't work. So you need to make sure you pull from the back right and not the left. Mine was super close. And don't worry about this. Remember, it's muslin, it's malleable, you're gonna press it, everything's gonna lay perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this back a little bit too because I don't want it to catch. And now we're gonna spray and lay down our batting. Okay. There's my very large lap dog. And I don't know if you can hear this, but it is barely coming out. Oh, there's a piece of poppy hair. All my projects have a little bit of Momo and poppy hair. Okay. We're going to go ahead and lay the batting down first. I don't know which one is which. Here we go. Gonna let this one just hang over the front. Let's do this one next. And I'm just looking underneath just to make sure. There we go. That it went down that center. This last one. Okay. I know this looks like a big old mess. And it is, but not really. Let me go ahead and move this. Move that. Move that. Move that. Now we're going to give it one more shot of spray, and then we're going to lay the tops down. And this is Hooping 3. Whoa, that was a lot. Oh, sorry, Pops. Pops got a good old KK100 can to the head. Oh, she just made a good move. She's like, I'll sit behind you. Yeah, good call. Can you fit? Can you fit? Come here. Come here. Mama, move over. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Ooh, and it's kind of like a little pucker there, but I'm not worried about it because we're going to press it out. There we go. Looking good. Change to larger embroidery frame. Hang on. Let me just slide that back on. Should be good. Okay, we're going to skip some steps. So let's go to our screen right here. We are going to skip all the way to those oranges. Remember, we're not going to do... So here is the placement stitch is turquoise. I'm going to skip to the orange, and that's going to be the tack down for your background because we've already placed it. So let me go ahead and whoop. I'd say I'm off 1/8 of an inch, but that's okay. Remember, we are going to, that stitch is going to get encased. It's actually, I think this stitch is, I think this is your basting stitch. I think this actually comes out. Let's see how well we did it with the next one. I'm pretty sure it comes over here next. Looks pretty good. I think that one's going to be pretty close. Maybe a 1/16 of an inch off. Don't worry if it's off a little bit. It's going to be fine. If you're off like a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, yeah, that you're going to have to redo. Even that, I wonder if you could just make it work. Okay, here we go. Last one. Let's see how close we are. I'd say we're off maybe about an 1/8 of an inch. I'm just going to kind of pull my fabric over. Good. All right. Make sure that fabric is fluffed. Make sure nothing is turning under. And then go ahead and stitch out 7 minutes per sashing piece or border piece. And then we'll be halfway done. We're going to have 3 more hoopings. Engage in some risky behavior. I'm gonna take the dogs upstairs and I'm gonna feed them, and I'm going to pray nothing bad happens while I'm gone. Be right back. stitches. We're 2 hours and 16 minutes in and not quite done with my third section. So I think this is gonna be like 5 hours of stitching. And maybe, should I pause it? Like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do because there's no reason for you to sit here and watch all of this stitching. So I'm gonna pause it, and then when I go to rehoop and stitch again, then I'll start filming. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I will see you in a little bit. All right, that was 3 hoopings down, 3 to go. We're right back at the beginning again. I'm going to go ahead and slide this off so I don't apply too much pressure to this part of my arm. And let's go ahead and take off my magnets. Oh my goodness. This, I'm going to have to put like something really big on the end, like a big flower or something, because I can see myself completely losing that somewhere. I mean, I had put it in a drawer. That made no sense to me. But I kind of had remembered that I had done it. And so I was able to find it. Thank goodness. Because I really don't think I can pull those off without it. It's so easy with it. I mean, it's so easy. But without it, I don't know. All right, I'm going to go ahead and scoot this up. Well, let's go ahead and slide it on first. I'm going to turn on the projector. Here's my projector right here. I was just watching the video for the Avenir. Looks pretty darn cool. Now you really have to make sure that you fluff your fabric. Okay. And it looks like I'm going to have to release a little more of this fabric so I can hang down. Maybe we'll just, this is my muslin. We'll let it unfold about 3 times or something. And just clip it back again. And we'll let this hang down a little bit. Maybe we'll unfold it twice. This one I rolled up super plump. Okay. Yes, so I was watching the Avenir. I love that feature where you can, it looks like you can just take a photo or illustration and it looks like it gives you 3 or 7 different options of how you want to stitch it. I was like, okay, that's pretty darn badass. Can I say that? Badass? It was badass. I was like, oh, super cool. Okay, here we go. Line it up, yellow line. And I'm going to go ahead and put my yellow line. And I'm lining up that yellow with the end of the silver. I'm going to go ahead and put this magnet on. That looks good to me. Let's do the next one. Okay, I'm going to move my projector on this. Oh, you know what? That's totally wrong because look, I wasn't even at the top. So let's go ahead and move that to the top and let's redo it. Scoot it up. Here we go. Now I'm going to use my finger. I'm moving the projector to the left. So finger on the screen. They were showing the new projector too. I was like, okay. I mean, it's so nice because it's so big. The projector is so much bigger. And then let's put our last one on. With your finger, you move the projector. And then you move the design with your arrows, the move arrows. All right. Let's see what we get down here. I'm going to go ahead and flip this back. Let's seat the bottom one. And I'm trying to make it so my fabric isn't askew. You know what I mean? I want it to come down as straight as possible. But if it isn't, that's okay too. Just as straight as possible is what you want. Those mangy mutts, they see something out there. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to say okay. Let me get this out of the way because you don't want it to start dragging all of this stuff around. But I'm going to go and say okay. And we are going to do the placement stitch. And remember, all of this has to be out of the way. So just grab it and flip it back. All right. And I'm going to grab my fabric from the right inside. So let's go ahead and just say okay. And that's going to allow me to grab this. You just want to pull it out of the way. Okay, here we go. Let it do its thing. When you get close again, you're going to grab that strip and just kind of pull it to the back a little bit so it just doesn't get stitched down. If you find you're stitching it down, then maybe leave a little more space. It doesn't have to be as tight as I'm doing it. Okay, coming over to this one, all the way to the left. I'm going to reach under here from the back side. That's close, really close. We're going to do this, and then we'll have 2 more hoopings. And they're not going to be full hoopings because we don't have to do, we're not going to have to do the, we're going to have to do half of the last one. 5 inches of it. Okay, let's spray and lay it down. Okay. It's a lot easier without Poppy in my way. I was kind of leaning over everything and okay, so I'm going to lay down my batting first. Today was my kids' first day of school, so I think I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to call them and see how it was. Okay, let me reclip. I'll grab this one. Okay, and the last one. It's not perfect, and that's okay. Because don't forget, fabric is malleable. If it drives you crazy, I don't know what to say about that. But I wouldn't worry about it. Just know that it's going to all be beautiful in the end when we go to trim it and sew it together and press it. Everything will be perfect. Okay. I'm going to lay this down. And again, I'm just going to kind of look underneath and make sure there's an equal amount of fabric on the right and the left side. And that's good for me. I feel like mine's almost like, I'm not worried about it though. I'm telling you, when we press it all out, it's going to be fantastic. And we will stitch to here, but I will do the rest of that too, because you're probably going to need it. All right, next step is the tack down. So we're going to skip all of this orange, all of that turquoise. That's orange is tacked down for the batting. The turquoise is placement stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and go here where we go forward and backward stitches. And I'm just going to touch right here in the turquoise. It's still turquoise. There, I'm on the orange. That's the tack down. And here we go. And I'm probably about 1/8 of an inch over, but we're okay. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to work on next. And I think I'll work on the backing for this. And I'll also, while I'm doing that, I'm going to finish my July mini quilt so I can start August. And I'm really excited to also do another bicycle for Hello Sunshine. Ooh, this is pretty far off. I'd say I'm close to, I don't even know how far off that is, but that is kind of far off, but it's still going to be okay. Okay, here we go. Now it's going to be the quilting stitch. And let's start stitching. Again, I'm going to pause it so this video isn't like so super long. I'm going to pause it and then I will start it over again when we go to rehoop. We have, make sure you're all fluffed, nothing's turned under. We have 2 more hoopings. So I want to show you, like I was off here, you can tell, I don't know, that's probably 1/8 of an inch, but it's not going to make a difference. And I was a little bit skewed, but everything lays totally flat. And because you're using muslin, you'll be able to press it and make it do whatever you want it to do. So don't worry about that. Okay, stitch on. Okay, that was hooping number 4. We've got 2 more hoopings to go. Let's go ahead. I'm going to slide this off so I don't stress out my the embroidery arm part. And oh my God, for a second I thought I lost it. I'm going to go ahead and take off the magnets. All right, I'm going to slide it back on. And let's turn on the projector. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm going to say okay to finish embroidery. And I'm going to say okay here so I can get to my projector. I don't know if you can see over there, but I am working on the back and I'm piecing it right here too. So I'm kind of excited because I'm getting close to being done with that too. All right. We're going to scoot this back. Let's move. Remember last time, I don't think I moved with the projector. It was right in the middle and I positioned and then I was like, uh-oh, I didn't move my projector. So I'm going to go ahead and unroll the bottom of this. Let's unroll it 2 times. 1, 2. We'll clip and we'll clip. And then let's unroll our batting. This, we're only going to need a little bit. Because like on this side, we're doing what, like 5 inches? So we're going to have to pay closer attention because, we're going to have to skip some parts, I think. Because we don't want to stitch that whole thing. Okay, let's move our projector up. We want it all the way to the top. And now we're going to line up the top one. Yellow, we're lining up the yellow with the end of the gray right here and right there. And I feel like once you have that on, we can put our, and like, don't have it right there. Maybe be like 1/8 of an inch or something like that away. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to grab my first magnet using my little itty bitties. And like I said, I'm just kind of learning as I go. That looks good. All right, now we're going to do the next side. I'm going to move my projector with my finger on the screen. Right there and right there. Perfect. Do you see how the yellows are lined up? And I'm probably about 1/8 of an inch. Maybe before I was too close, right? Like maybe it was too close. We're going to do the last one. Move your projector with your finger, and then if we have to move the design, you use the arrows. Okay, here we go. This one, feel like I almost have to scoot it over a little bit. There we go. Okay, those are down. Kind of developing a little system here. So I'm going to fold these out of the way. I'm going to put my magnet down here at the bottom, just pulling it nice and taut. And this side too, nice and taut. And, okay, magnets are on. I'm going to fold this, flip this all to the back, and we are going to do our placement stitch. Why is that bubbly right there? I don't know, but it's okay. Okay, I'm going to come in here and say okay. I feel like I got it down at least. Now we're going to do the placement stitch for our batting. It's going to do the middle one first. That's the order in which I, that was the order in which I, well, that's kind of far, but that's okay. Let's see how it is. I mean, I've been like right on the money. So maybe 1/8 of an inch is going to be better. Maybe I'll be like, oh, I like that so much better. This is the placement stitch for the batting. And we kept our batting one long piece. So that's the furthest I've had this away. And I think it's going to be great. I think what I'll do is I will stitch this section out. And then it's Frisbee time. Dogs are ready again. I've never had such high maintenance dogs before. I had a husky and a short hair, and I thought they were high energy and high maintenance. It's nothing compared to an Australian Shepherd. Let me just tell you. Okay, this one you want to pull it from the back right. When I try to pull it from the back left, my hand was totally in the way. Okay, don't try and sneak up at me at my house here. You're never going to be able to do it. They're going to hear you. Okay, we're going to use our spray adhesive. And if you're not comfortable using spray adhesive, use a glue stick, use tape, use whatever makes you comfortable. And see, like how I have a little pucker here? You don't need to worry about that because it's muslin and it'll just like press out when you're ready to press it. Neighborhood nuisance they are. And let's go ahead and lay down our batting first. And like this, quite honestly, we're going to lay it down. I'm going to cut it because let me see how much fabric I have. That's it. So let's go ahead and cut it right along that line because I don't want to get this all sticky. Because we're going to save this for next time. Let's get that out of the way. Lay this down. I can also just kind of give this a little shot of spray. Sorry, don't want to spray too much, so I'm going really slowly. And this is going to lay down, and we are going to stitch this whole thing And let's go right here. Oh, we already sprayed, so now we're just going to put our batting down. I'm not going to worry about all these black threads because the fabric on top of it is black. But if you were doing this and it was like white or something where it would shadow through, you'd want to pull all those threads off of there. And this we're going to do all the way down because we don't know. We just want to make sure we have enough. Like when I did the Falling into Autumn, I just assumed they were all 10 inches and they weren't. They're 9.5 inches. So when I did it, I didn't have enough border and I had to stitch more and then I had to sew it on, and it was a learning experience. It was not really a big deal. What if you get spray adhesive here? You can get that off just with a little like Goo Gone or Totally Amazing or something like that. But try not to. Try not to get it on your machine. Okay. So we're going to have to pay attention. We're going to do our tack down first. It's getting easier, right? So I'm going to go here into the turquoise. Oh, we have to hit this button first where we go minus plus stitches into the turquoise and now into the orange. So I'm going to go forward, 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 and there's my tack down. The orange is the tack down, the second orange. The other orange is a tack down too, but it is the batting tack down. You don't want that. So let's go ahead. We're going to pay attention here. And again, I'm not worried about being off a little bit. Just make it gorgeous. I love that we measure this 3 inches now instead of, I think it was 2.5 before, and then you were like really struggling with your fabric, struggling to keep it in place. Okay, I want you to pay attention because once we come off the fabric, we're going to fast forward and we're going to be careful when we go back on. Oh, looks like my bobbin didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and put my foot down. I'm just following the instructions on my screen. Always cut. And let's check our bobbin. And the other thing, anytime you take this off, when you put it back on, we need to fluff our fabric. And I think my bobbin thread was just a little bit looped and didn't catch. I'm excited because I'm almost done. Ooh, ooh. And then this will not be a UFO. Ooh, ooh. Why is that caught? There we go. Okay, let's slide it back on. I want that tack down stitch the whole way. So I'm going to go back. And it's going to take me to the beginning of the tack down. Remember, this goes to the next step. That goes back to the beginning of the step you're on. And if you hit it again, it goes to the previous step. So hopefully that's long enough now. What is happening here? And why is that thread green? Interesting. Okay, once I come off, I'm going to stop. I'm going to cut. I have this on my screen. If you don't, this is how you get there. You hit this button here where you go minus and plus stitches. And then I'm going to hit plus 10s until I'm ready to go back onto my fabric, or I'm actually on it. So plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. Oh, make sure you fluff that fabric too. And when I say plus, I mean, now I'm going plus 1s until I'm on. There, that's good. What you don't want to do is start here. you can do that, but that foot sometimes scoops under and then it starts dragging your fabric around and makes a big old mess. And then it's just crazy. So you just want to just start it on the fabric. Okay, here we go. Coming over. Okay, let's go ahead and do our stitching. This center one, we're just going to stitch as is. This one we're going to have to pay attention to because we're going to have to pay attention to when it comes off and over. I think it kind of stitches up and down, like just down. I don't think it does all this busy work like that. So I think we'll be good. All right. I'm going to pause it for this one, but I will stop and I'll do this one. We'll do that one together. So if you're worried about doing something like that and stopping in between, we can do it together. I will see you in a little bit. This is 7 minutes of stitching for the middle one. And then we have one more hooping. Whoop, whoop. And it's not even like, it's going to be 2/3 of a hooping. See ya. So just moved over to this one, so I'm going to pay attention. And because this one did stitch here and it came down here and then ended over here, so it's not necessarily going to be stitching in order. So we're going to pay attention a little bit. Okay, I'm going to stop there and I'm going to cut. And now I'm going to go over here to my screen and I'm going to just hit +10s until I know where I'm at. Okay, we're back on. Let's go ahead and stitch. Looks like we're going to go off again. So I'm going to hit my start stop. I'm going to cut. Hit your cut button. And then on your screen, you're going to hit +10s until you're back to where it's going to be stitching. Don't need to stitch all of, I mean, you could stitch all of that out. Still have to be careful when you come back onto the fabric. And cut, and +10s, and as you're hitting your +10s, you're looking at your fabric. +10, +10, +10. Okay, now it looks like it's doing some busy stuff, so guess what? I'm going to hit +100, and I'm going to hit another +100, and another +100, because it is stitching down here. +100. Now I'm going to go +10s since I'm getting close. Okay, looks like I'm back on the fabric. I'm going to pay attention here. And I'm going to keep my finger on my start stop button in case it goes off. little alien bottle. How fun. I don't think we're going to be coming back off and doing this. I think it's just going to be headed inward. So, I know it's pretty risky, but I am going to let it stitch out. It'll stitch this out, then it's going to come over here, and I'm going to engage in risky behavior, which I don't recommend. And I'm going to go play a little dog frisbee. And you don't need to watch this stitch out. I'm going to regroup, rejoin when it's done stitching this, and then we'll rehoop again. But that is how you deal with an end piece, that you don't have to stitch out the whole thing, okay? See you in a little bit. This is like an all-day job, isn't it? So, I'm going to finish this up. And then we're going to do another hooping. I think we have 2 more hoopings to go. 1, 2. Because we're going to do this whole piece. I just want to make sure I have enough. The worst is not having enough. I feel like I have it down. I know what I'm doing. Is this going to be how I do it every time now? 10 by 10 sashing hoop? Okay, slide it off. Get your little, I need to put this, like hang this on something, right? So I don't lose it. Okay, I'm going to slide it back on. I'm going to unroll a little bit of my muslin. Let's just unroll it twice. Oh, just one should be enough. Okay, I'm going to clip it. And then let's turn on our projector. So we're going to go okay, okay, and it's on your layout screen. There's your projector. All right, hang on just a second. All right, so I'm gonna move my camera or my projector with my hand. The design with the arrows, I'm gonna scoot this up and we're gonna line up. Let's unfold this. Let's get this all entangled. Panting dogs. So I bribed him. My dogs know what cheesy poofs are. Those cheese puffs, the Annie's ones. So they were out there making a racket, and I said, cheesy poof. That's all you have to say, and they will come running. Okay, so I'm going to line that up and that up. I'm probably about 1/8 of an inch away. This feels puffy. Like, it shouldn't be that puffy. I'm going to hold my hand here. I'm really getting this down now. And now I'm going to get one of my little itty-bitty magnets. I'm going to put it on from the back. Okay. So we don't even have to do this side anymore. Now we're just going to do over here to the left. So I'm going to take my finger and move this, drag the projector over here. And we want it right about, oops, we want the yellow. I'm going to get my other magnet. Put this one on. I'm going to hold this down here. And that looks good. And now let's just get all the rest of the magnets on. How's that angle? Fold this back. I'm going to make this nice and taut. Get this nice and taut too, even though we're not stitching this side. And I should have one more little itty bitty. Let's use it. We'll keep our fabric down here. Okay, I didn't like the way he went on. Okay, all right. And I still have this one that's not even on there, but that's okay. What I'm realizing is you don't need them on all the time. And we are just going to do 2. So why don't we do this? I'm going to go ahead and go in here and we're going to get rid of this one. So I'm going to say, okay. I'm going to touch return. It'll take me to the previous screen. This is combined right now. Your machine sees this as one design. You can't get rid of just part of it in your layout screen. So you have to go back to your main edit screen. So here's my return key. And now I'm just going to touch this one. If I hit delete, it's going to delete this one. And I want that one. This is the one I want to delete. I'm just going to hit delete. Okay, I'm going to leave those 2 exactly the way they were. And now I'm going to touch embroidery. I've got to color sort again. See, when you go to the previous screen, your color sort will disappear. So you have to go back to layout and hit color sort. And now it's color sorted these 2. This is one design. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we already did our projector. I'm going to go in here where I can go plus and minus stitches or whole colors. And let's go ahead and stitch out our placement stitch for our batting. So fold this all back, get it out of the way. It's still going to do the center one, or at least it should. And go ahead and pull this back. Make sure that's out of the way. I hooped pretty snug again. And make sure this is out of the way when you come back around. Okay, this one's next. Remember, you got to reach under from the right side. Don't do it from the left. Your hand will be in an awkward position. Just pull this fold so it doesn't get stitched down. And if that's too close for you, you can space it a little further away. I wouldn't do more than 1/4 of an inch, but a solid 1/8 of an inch would be good. Okay, I'm going to reach back under there. Make sure this is out of the way. And then let's go ahead and spray our batting down. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's barely coming out. I can see it a little bit. I'm kind of just spraying right down the center. I'm going to grab my batting piece. We'll do this one first. I'm just going to lay it down in that placement stitch. And then we're going to do one more hooping after this. Can't wait. It was a big job. You know, because this stitching, there is a lot of stitching going on. Sometimes the stitch is not this detailed, and this one is a detailed quilting stitch. It's like a focal point for sure. I'm not worried about those long threads. And now I'm going to spray it again, and then we're going to put the actual fabric down. No, you stay there. Okay, just look underneath as you're laying it down and try and center your fabric to the batting. We're going to do this one too. And instead of 21 minutes, this will be 14 minutes. Okay, tack down stitch first. We got to skip some steps. We're skipping the batting tack down. We're skipping the background placement, and we're going to do the background tack down. So I'm going to touch here in the turquoise. Make sure you see turquoise, and then I'm going to push the next step until I see the orange. And there it is. Here we go. Oh, and I don't know what happened over here. I didn't even realize it didn't tack down, but it is a basting stitch and it's going to come out, so I'm just going to leave it. Boop! Sorry. And now the quilting stitch. "14 minutes of quilting stitch." Just go ahead and hit start and let it go. And I'm going to go ahead and I will pause it, and then I'll restart for the hooping because I feel like that's the hardest part. And this is just like watching the grass grow. So once this is done, we'll regroup. I'll be right back. So I'm looking at how much fabric is left, and I'm thinking, you know what? I think we could just do the 7-inch hooping. So let's just save ourselves the hassle. I'm just going to go, okay. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to say okay. I want these to be exactly the same spacing. So I'm going to go ahead and say okay. I'm going to touch return to go to the previous screen because remember, this is one design now. And I'm going to add. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add right here. Let's go to my pocket, my USB, pumpkins and potions, background quilting, and I want 2x7. And go ahead and set that. I'm going to move it so it's right on top of the one below it because my spacing is perfect, right? So I'm going to go edit, move. And I'm just going to move it until it's right above the other one. It doesn't matter, whichever click you want to do. I'll go click this way. No, I'm going to go click that way. Now I'm going to say okay. I'm going to make a copy of that. I'm going to hit move, center, and I'm going to scoot it over until it's perfectly on top of the other one. Okay, so I'm good. Now I'm going to get rid of the ones underneath. So I'm going to hit select, select. Okay, I have one of those outside ones right now. You can see the dots. So here's select. Little one, big one, delete. Big one, delete. All right, let's go ahead. Our last hooping, I'm going to say embroidery. I'm going to go layout, and let me rehoop first, or at least get the magnets off. And you know, all this excess now, we don't need it. So I'm going to just take this right here and cut it and just be done with it. So I didn't deal with all this batting, and we'll keep this batting for the next project or the previous projects that haven't been finished. I should just do all my borders now because I'm kind of, you know, when you're like, you're in the mode, you're like, oh yeah, I'm totally in the mode now. And you don't have to really think. Because literally I was like, not dreaming about it, but kind of like daydreaming how I was going to be doing it. This is my 2-inch. We'll save that for something else. Let's slide this off so it doesn't put stress on your embroidery arm. Let's use our tool and pop these off. All right, now I'm going to slide it back on. I've learned a lot about my hoop today. I'm going to touch my, let's color group. And then I'm going to touch my projector. I'm going to take my projector. I'm going to move it up here to the top of these. This is what the only part I'm really concerned about are these two. And I like doing the center first. There we go. It's going to go right there. I need a little bit more muslin because you want it to hang off of the front. Like there. That should be enough. And then reclip it. Oh my goodness. I feel like I've been wrestling piranhas all day. Actually, just one. Momo would really just kind of lay down and chill out. This puppy, she has a lot of energy. And she looks for trouble. Okay. That looks pretty good. I'm going to put my hand down here. I'm probably about 1/8 of an inch up. Maybe I need to pull this kind of taut. Can you see that? I'm lining up the sterling with the yellow. Somebody's going to get kicked out. Oop, that pulled it back quite a bit. So let's, oh, that's fine. That looks good. Okay, now let's do the next side. I'm going to move the projector with my finger. And I want this to be lined up. I'm going to put this on from the back. Let me see. From the side. Okay, good. And now I'll go ahead and put one down here at the bottom. Put one over here on the side. Maybe I need one here on this corner to keep it nice and taut. I'm not even on there really. Okay, hang on. Oh, it's fine. Or maybe I'll kind of put it there. What I'm learning is it's really, you can be loosey-goosey. Oh, here. We should probably put it down here. Keep this all nice and taut. Okay. Here we go. So let's go ahead and I'm going to say okay. I'm going to go here where we go minus and plus stitches. And let's do the placement stitch for our batting. We're going to bend these two pieces out of the way. And let's go ahead and say okay. My bobbin's running out. Cut. Cut your thread. That bobbin lasted quite a while. I mean, we've been stitching. I know I haven't recorded the whole thing, but we have been stitching a long time. We can slide it this way too. Throw that away. Or keep it, whatever. I always tell you that I used to just reuse those bobbins. I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to reuse them. And then I had an educator who was like, don't use those. They're cheap and icky. So then I stopped. But I still have some. Sometimes I'll pull one out. They get like cloudy. And they can splinter and they're not the best. At the same time, like, never really had an issue with them either. Okay, I'm going to slide this on. I'm going to go ahead and stitch. Here we go. Here we go again. So I'm kind of excited about that big hoop. I mean, that big hoop's going to be 18 inches, so we could do, whoops. I'm going to hit stop because I got to rein this in. Look at this. Put up. Let's check everything back. There we go. When in doubt, hit your stop button quickly. Well, I'm like way off with this, but that's okay. Again, we don't worry about it. It's muslin. It's fine, but I am way off. I'm probably almost like a fat eighth away, like chunky eighth of an inch. Or a very small quarter of an inch. But it's fine. Who's gonna know? Okay, I'm gonna spray, lay everything down, and then we're gonna stitch. And we're almost done. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know why they're staring at me. Okay. And lay this down, centered to your batting. Shoot, am I centered? Not really. I was just looking at it going, oh, there's a lot on the left side. There we go. And then lay this down, centered to your batting. Beautiful. Let's do our tack down. Skip some stitches. We're going to skip the next grouping. That's your tack down for your batting. Let's just touch inside the turquoise. Turquoise is here. I'm going to fast forward until I have orange. That's my tack down for these strips. Let's see if we're going to go off and back on again. If we are, we're okay. Let's go ahead and let this scoot over. If you are beyond, make sure you put your finger on that start stop button. Maybe fast forward until you're on. Okay, come here. Here we go. Yes. I'm like way off, but that's okay. Don't worry. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Because when I trim it, I'm just going to kind of like make that line straight. I'm going to press my fabric so everything looks amazing. It's going to be great. Don't worry. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do the pretty stitching. We've got, it's 5 minutes each. So we've got 10 more minutes of stitching and then we are done. I got to finish up the back of my quilt. So I'm going to pause this and I'll join you in just a minute. And we are done stitching. So let's go ahead. I'm going to slide this out. You got to go in the corners. Oh my God, that was a lot of stitching. That was a big job. I guess I'm not going to get as much done tonight as I thought. I thought, oh, I'm just going to do the borders, finish up pumpkins and potions, and then I can finish off July mini quilts. Well, I don't know if that's happening, but for right now, let me go ahead and grab, well, where did I put that? Okay, here it is. I'm going to show you how to press these out and then trim them. Can you believe this? I can't remember when I started it, but I felt like this was definitely an all-day project. But, you know, it's so cute. Like, you just got to do it. But look at, this is a lot of stitching. That's a lot of stitches. All right, I'm going to put this away. Remember, we don't even need these marks because there's all these marks on the hoop. There's your center mark, that little arrow, and all these hash marks. That's your embroidery field. I've gotten a couple emails because we have done, we did a spreadsheet that has the hoop sizes, which there were a couple of mistakes on it, so I'm fixing that right now. But a couple people have said, how can the 5x7 hoop, the inside, be bigger than the 5x7 like name of the hoop? So I just want to clear that up with you because this isn't a 5x7, but this is the 10x10. This hoop is called the 10x10, and that is the embroidery field. And then we have measured inside the inner hoop from edge to edge and given you that measurement and this measurement. And that's going to be bigger than your embroidery field because your embroidery field has a no-sew area that goes all the way around it. And I'll try to remember to explain that in the live feed tomorrow. Let's do that in the live feed. All right, I like to press and I like to do it with moisture, but I do not like putting water into my, does this look so good or what? I don't like putting water into my iron. So I have a spray bottle with water and I'm going to go ahead and spray the back of this. And I'm just going to, you know, make sure that everything's laying nice and flat. Ooh. And then guess what? I am almost done with my back. I'm not quite done, but I'm going to show it to you and it's pretty darn cute. And then we'll trim this. You're going to go 1/8 of an inch outside of the, 1/8 of an inch outside of that tack down line. It's going to be your trim line. And you want to make sure you press this before you cut it. You don't want to press it. You don't want to cut it and then press it and then have your fabric all move and have it be wonky. You want to make sure it's beautiful, and then we press. Make it flat. Don't worry about puckers. Don't worry about curves. It's fabric. We'll ease it when we sew it. Don't worry about any of that. Press it into your wool mat. Oh my goodness. This was a big, big job. But I'm glad it's done, because if I didn't do it and I just let it sit, then I would lose interest, and then it wouldn't get done. So I'm so happy. Just a little itty bitty more. Don't fear puckers. I mean, every once in a while I'll get one that I can't get out. When there's some super dense stitching, for the most part, moisture, iron, wool mat will take care of everything. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead. I'm going to move this over. And all right, here we go. I'm just going to use this ruler. I'm going to fussy cut. And what we're doing is, sorry, let's see if we can get a better angle without that there. Okay. You want to be 1/8 of an inch outside of that line. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this right side. Let me start down here. And then I'll do the other one. So I'm going to do one and then the other. Okay. So we're going to cut all the way up one side, 1/8 of an inch outside that tack down line. And then we'll go ahead and we'll cut the other side. And the other side will be more more lined up with this. Not lined up with it, but cut from that line. Momo loves to hear the sound of his voice. I don't know if I've ever met a dog that likes to bark more. And I'm just taking that, and sometimes it's like it's not totally straight, and that's okay. Remember, it's malleable. All right, that side is done. If you want, we could just cut between this, and we're not dragging around all this fabric. So we're cutting 1/8 of an inch. Okay. All right, here we go. Oops. They see something. Okay, 2.5 inches. So my 2.5 inches is my white line, and it may or may not be totally in line with the other side, but I'm just going to take my time and line up and cut 2.5 inches. And you just need to be able to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance to encase both sides. I don't know what's out there. They are not happy about something out there. And there we go. So that's going to be one of the strips. What you don't want to do is I wouldn't just go 1/8 over here and 1/8 over here, because I mean, you can see mine would have been too skinny. So I did do 1/8 from one side, and then from the other side, from after you cut that, then cut 2.5 inches over. All right, here is strip number 1. I'm not going to make you watch this. I'm going to go ahead and do this one, and then I will be right back. Okay, So I have these all trimmed now. What I'm going to do with one of them, and that's going to be the one that's the 45 inch. Make sure you don't cut the other one. So that's about 45 inches. It should be about 22 inches. It should be this one right here. I'm going to cut this one in half. And then these other two, I'm just going to leave as is. And these should both be about 20, 40, like 60 some odd inches. And I'll probably have some extra. And you know what? I can put it into the back of my quilt because I needed a little bit more. Okay, here we go. So you're going to sew the sides on first. I'm not going to show all of this just because I am going to move on to another project. But what we're going to do is we are going to cut this one in half. I'll just go ahead and cut it in half now. Should be fine. I hope. Because that top is 20 inches. So you should have a little bit more, right? Top and bottom 20 inches. I'm going to sew them. So this is the top. The bottom I'm going to sew this way. So the bottles are right side up. So that's going to be top, bottom, and then the sides, should I make these go in or out? I'm going to do out. So I'm going to do the bottles out both ways. So bottles out there and bottles out here, and then also everything all together, and then put on the binding, and then do some stitch in the ditch. I did want to show you the back of my quilt. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, and I'll lay this down too so you can see it. Okay. So this is the front, and you're going to sew, I think you sew your sides on first. Just follow the instructions in the book, but you're going to sew the sides on first, and then you will go ahead and sew on the top and the bottom. I just laid mine out. That's why they look the way they do, but I am going to put my bottles up and then out to the left and then to the right and then up on the bottom, because you can do it however you want. This is my back. So what I like to do is I like to use up all the goodies that are left over, any blocks that maybe didn't come out the way I expected them to, and maybe I'll throw in a block or two. So I did have, this was the fabric that was left over from the flying geese. And I did a couple of these. So I don't know where the rest are. I think I did like 3 of them. So yeah, I don't know where they are, but isn't that cute? So it has to be a little bit bigger. I may need to make it a little bit longer. I think I did 24 inches side to side, and I'll do 64 inches top and bottom, 2 inches all the way around. That's extra. I'll throw some batting in, layer it, and then we're done. But that's as far as I'm going to go with you for pumpkins and potions. If you have any questions, just reach out. Thank you so much for joining me. Or you know what? Actually, I might throw in one more video because I need to add the embellishments. Should I just sew the whole thing together with you? This is me changing my mind. I do have to add the embellishments, my rhinestones, and I want to sew the bats on, and I have to add the chandelier beads. So I do have some embellishments to add. So there might be one more video, but that was stitching your borders, pressing, and trimming, and this is what my back's going to look like. Thanks so much for joining me. I will be back. There'll be another video for embellishments. Bye.